wheel, 5-speed, and somebody just okay. Now, so these are the newer cars down here, automobilia, 55 Corvette, 32 Roadster. My favorite car, one of my favorites, is this is a 1947, 48 Nardi. Why don't you lift up the hood, Jeff, with those two things right there? Just on the other, do it on the other side. It's easier. No, you won't hold one side. Yeah. This car was purposely built for the Mille in Italy. And it ran the Mille in Italy, Targa Florio, a lot of races over here. It's a big Alpha 6C 2500. So 2500 cc, pumped it up to about 2800. I took this back to Italy in 2002. I took it to Goodwood. I've raced it for years at Monterey, and also up at Laguna Seca, Sears Point rather. So great car, hand built, about 6 months. They built 3 of these, and there he goes. I got a new mechanic with Jeff here. Next to it's a 57 Mercedes-Benz 300 SL Roadster. Very nice touring car. My wife is famous that when we're touring, she knits and crochets. So this she likes because it's very comfortable. We can go 150, 140 miles an hour. She can put the windows up and still do her knitting. Next to it is a Jaguar 68 E-Type. Great car. First, as soon as I got this car, the first thing I did is put air conditioning in it because it is very hot, but it's a beautiful car. Then as we come around, the next one is owned by Sean and myself. This is a 32 Roadster Highboy. Jeff, you want to lift up that hood? And this car, I put 20 some, no, right there, right here. Just lift that up. So this is a real street rod, whereas the 606 is a hot rod. So this is built by Roy Brizio. A lot of you know Roy's a good friend of ours up in South City, and I've taken this to Canada 3 times, driven it to LA numerous times. My wife hates it because being a roadster, it has no windows. And then, you know, we're getting into all the mobile. You know, there's a little something for everybody down here. This car is kind of unique to me. This is a 55 Corvette. This was the first year of the V8. And in 1955, I'm a senior in high school, and we go down the Chevy dealership, and I go, my God, they built them in 53 and 54 with 6 cylinders, but this was a V8. And my dad says, what is it? I said, it's called a Corvette. And he said, what a stupid name, that'll never make it. And so I bought it about 25 years later, called my father up and said, Dad, I bought a 55 Corvette. And he goes, so? I go, no, you don't get it, Dad. It's just, to me, that was a big deal. This was, well, coming up on this red car over here is a great, to me, race car. It's an Alpha 67 Alpha GTA. It was a GT series cars built. They made 90 something of them. And they have a sister car that is called the GTV, which is steel. This car is 100% aluminum. Engine's aluminum, has dual plugs per cylinder. It's a little 4-cylinder motor. You can shift these at 8,000 RPM, 5-speed. They go 150 miles an hour on the track. I raced this in Europe and did a lot of racing here with it, and had a little problem where I hit a wall at about 125 to 130 miles an hour up at Laguna Sears Point. A friend of mine dropped 7 quarts of oil from turn 11 to turn 4, and they didn't close the track. And I'm shifting and getting ready to haul up a hill and I hit this oil and went into a cement wall. But great car. This is probably one of my favorite race cars. This is interesting here. This is a flathead Ford V8. And years ago, we were down in LA at Pomona, and I'm walking along with the Brizios. They said, Deluna, look, dick heads. And there were a pair of these heads for this engine painted yellow. And in the 50s, you could have your name cast for an extra $5. So we end up building this stand, which is a big V8 stand with the engine. And I've got a wrench here that came out of Europe, out of England, and it's called King Dick wrench. So I've got the King Dick wrench to turn the dick heads. You know, that's another sick one. Here, this is all, again, Whiz, but this is the Whiz before they went out of business. So this was the newer Whiz back in the late 50s, early 60s. A lot of that stuff. You know, the stuff for Mopar, you all remember Hudson's. You know, Hudson had all its own products also. Vidal was a big thing. Bose. This is this another Mercedes 190 SL Roadster 63, belongs to my wife. Sean found this in San Carlos and we cosmetically restored it. And I put it in the garage with a big bow on it for my wife's birthday, I don't know, 25 years ago. And I've been trying to sell it ever since, but there's a card in there that says, honey, I will never sell your car. So I'm stuck with this thing. You know, really, it's kind of slow. It's a neat little car, but they don't do too much. This is a 48 MGTC. It's a neat car. What's great about this, we did some conversion to 5-speed steering box. It has a Schrock blower in it. So for an MG, it goes pretty well. Next to it is a Messerschmitt, which was built after the war in the 50s for transportation. Messerschmitt was a German company that built aircraft, and they were not allowed to do that after the war. I just lost it, Jeff, or not.
No, you're good.
Okay. Then the one next to it is a BMW Isetta, which were very popular. Here we have this engine that goes in the race car over there. And then this is another race engine, dual overhead cam, hand built. Back here, we've got a collection of motorcycles, mostly Italian bikes, Italian and English. There's some bikes. These are actually smaller bikes back here. And then there's a very old Vespa back in the corner. Again, the signs are a very big part of what I collect and that I like. And they're getting more and more difficult. The signs are out there. And if any of you watch, the Pickers, I just lost. If you watch the Pickers, they find stuff, but it's usually, well, that's called a reality show, because they called me before and they set you up and they come and look at your stuff. Then they come in and they like they're buying it and all this. It's not too realistic, but they go to some neat places. That's what I'm impressed. So for me as a collector, I mean, a sign like Cooper batteries, 10, this is 10, wood frame, all original, priceless. It's all about the condition. This sign right here, I've got this, a lot of you heard at the Barrett Jackson auction. Well, it's kind of a happening. I never buy anything there, but they were selling automobilia. One year they were selling this sign. I knew the guys. People buy mostly muscle cars. So this is a car, one from the 30s, no one was interested in. So the bidding started at like 1,000 or 1,500, no bids, went down to 800, 7, whatever it is. I bought it for $400. And when I went to pull it out, get it and pay for it, this guy said, Deluna, look on the back. I looked on the back. It said, don't sell for under $2,200. And that was 15, 20 years ago. But the younger people do not want these kind of signs. But for sign collectors, I mean, that's a double A sign because there just are no chips in it and it's in such great condition. And it's surprising where you find things. That sign right up there, the Grease Master, my wife is looking at antique jewelry and I just happened to walk by this sign and say to this lady, oh, you've got a nice little sign over there. She said, oh yeah, it's an automotive sign. So what would you like for it? It was brand new in the box. She goes, oh, give me $40 for it.